A very good morning to our respected lecturers, Sir Yusri. I am Yvonne Erika Frankie. Professional judgment is defined as the application of accumulated knowledge and experience gained through a relevant accounting or auditing training by making use of the ethical standards, resulting in making informed decisions about the causes of action that are appropriate for specific circumstances. So before commencing the audit, the auditor needs to apply professional judgment in deciding materiality and risks of audit. To come up with the appropriate audit plan as per the circumstances, the auditor must use professional judgment. It lets the auditor decide whether the audit evidence obtained is sufficient and appropriate for the audit. If not, the auditor can further evaluate new audit procedures or course of action by applying professional judgment. Next, the professional judgment allows the auditor to think in a perspective that questions whether all the objectives of the ISAs are being met. If not, it helps in deciding what further needs to be done. In accounting, a few line items like calculation of the provision for bad debts require a judgment from the management. So the professional judgment allows the auditor to assess whether such judgments are implying fraud or error and whether they are in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Conclusions and assessments regarding audit evidence obtained require the auditor to apply professional judgment as well.
Possible problem arising from this issue is one, rush to solve. In a group setting, this rush to solve is often manifested as a tendency to strive toward a quick compromise and early consensus, example given groupthink. Fostering healthy debate and avoiding early consensus is key to avoiding unhealthy tendencies towards suppression of view or early, potentially premature consensus. Decision maker may fall into this trap unaware and, as a result, unknowingly develop a limited view of the problem they are addressing, the objective that they are trying to achieve, and the available alternatives. The second one is judgment triggers. Every judgment or decision has an initiating force that triggers a decision, and that trigger can lead the decision maker to skip the early steps in the judgment process. Triggers often come in the form of alternative masquerading as a problem definitions, and we thus move forward without a complete understanding of the problem or objective and without a complete consideration of other alternatives. The third one is overconfidence. The pervasive tendency to be overconfident can lead to suboptimal behavior in every step of a good judgment process. Intentional case that we can refer based on these problems is ISAC Healthcare, where they said that clinic profit guarantee clause does not affect doctor professional judgment. Its management had always emphasized to doctors that patient interests should take priority, and critical judgment and treatment should never be clouded by any financial monetary considerations. The local case that we can refer based on the problem is stringent evidence-based assessment assured by Cambridge exam. The evidence-based assessment process first involves asking schools, also known as centers, to look at any evidence that they have of the achievement of their students. This could be coursework, work set in class, mock exam, assignments, anything that the teacher has. We are asking the teacher to make a professional judgment on the basis of the evidence that they have on how well they know their students. This is what they call a predicted grade.
My name is Adi Anajitwe. First, identify and define the issue. This is not always as easy as it sounds, and it depends on the ability to consider multiple perspectives, including information that contradicts management's assertions. Next, gather the facts and information and identify the relevant literature. This is not limited to learning the company's version of events through discussion. Then, perform the analysis and identify alternatives. Auditors need to be thorough while examining potential alternatives, and they should be vigilant in identifying information that could disconfirm expectations or management position. The fourth way is to make decision. If a supportable judgment process has not been followed, the auditor might need to reconsider the process and the evidence obtained. Review and complete the documentation and rationale for the conclusion. Documentation should be performed throughout the judgment process, as it can enable a more objective and complete assessment.
Hi, my name is Noemia Nabila Hamidudin. So for professional skepticism, it is an attitude that includes a questioning mind, being alert to conditions which may indicate possible misstatement due to error or fraud, and a critical assessment of audit evidence. So in auditing standards requires that an audit be designed to provide reasonable assurance of detecting both material in the financial statements. To accomplish this, the audit must be planned and performed with an attitude of professional skepticism in all aspects of the engagement. Recognizing the possibility that a material misstatement could exist regardless of the auditor's prior experience with the integrity and honesty of client management and those in charge with governance. As we know, auditors are human and they are subject to natural biases to trust individuals they know and with whom they interact on a regular basis. In an environment, auditors sometimes convince themselves that they only accept clients that they can trust and who have high integrity. Professional skepticism arises when the area affected by management's judgment and decisions. Some areas potentially affected by management's judgment include related party transactions. Besides, management has an expected outcome in these areas, and it is crucial that auditors apply both a diligent and critical assessment of all evidence to ensure that contrary decisions should have been made. Consideration of fraud is also an area of concern that requires professional skepticism. Professional skepticism can be applied to areas of the highest fraud risk by modifying planned audit procedures to find the strongest evidence supporting or disproving an assertion. And then it can be applied to by using third-party sources for confirmation, specialist report, or independent documentation of testing.
In the field of audit, certain problems can arise due to professional skepticism. 1. When an appropriate level of professional skepticism is not applied, then it will reduce the likelihood of auditor properly understand the client industry, line of business, and different business process being used. Second, it's not always easy for auditor to apply the professional skepticism in a systematic manner under all circumstances, as many times the auditor have a predisposition to client. Third, another problem is it's not easy to consistently apply professional skepticism appropriately. As such, certain red flags may be missed. Lastly, professional skepticism can be detrimental to the audit if the auditor becomes too skeptic. Too much skepticism can be lead over auditing and will lead to problems with regard to meeting the line of the audit engagement. Next, real international and domestic cases about professional skepticism. For real international cases, we can relate it with Satyam Computers case. Satyam Computers once the crown of jewel in Indian of IT industry, but were brought to the ground by its founder in 2009 as a result of financial crime. The Satyam scam was joked to the market, especially to the Satyam stockholder. The accounting fraud committed by the Satyam owner or Satyam founder in 2009 is testament to the fact that the science of conduct is swayed in large of human greed, ambition, and hunger for power, money, fame, and glory. Domestic cases about professional skepticism is the role of university and administrator of misappropriation of assets in Malaysia. The issue of misuse of office officer, fake users of department for their own purpose and others. It is not publicly disclosed due to maintaining the organization reputation. In resolving this issue, administrators have to conduct integration that closely related to professional skepticism. For example, in managing office official, administrators need to conduct detailed inquiries and consideration. User usage is not recorded or updated. Knowing these features, the administrator will conduct more comprehensive review and close monitoring of an activity.
First, a firm can develop and support judgment process. It is important for auditors to develop the ability to follow a good judgment process and to avoid judgment traps and biases that can undermine effective application of professional skepticism. Firms should develop and implement a sound audit judgment process and help ensure that auditors understand and implement that process so that it becomes deeply ingrained in ongoing firm training and audits. A common conceptual foundation and a shared vocabulary at the firm level can facilitate mentoring, coaching, and review of good judgment processes. Next, training in judgment processes underlying professional skepticism. Underlying personality traits likely influence an individual's ability to appropriately apply professional skepticism, but experience as well as a number of recent research studies indicate that knowledge and skill that can enhance auditors' ability to apply professional skepticism can be developed through training. Auditors must be trained in the underlying judgment processes, knowledge, attitudes, and skill that will allow them to appropriately and effectively bring professional skepticism to their work.